I don't know what this thing's doing. Well, today is a special day on the Fear to Focus podcast because Jeff Jones is the first official man that I'm interviewing
Woohoo!
on my podcast. So it's just not for girls. I mean, some might disagree because Jeff and I share this love of candles together that we've
Yes, we do.
over the years. So we always, we got to talk about our favorite candles. But I want to welcome you today. You're one of my most favorite people in the world. And it's such an honor to have you on my podcast today. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you. I've been excited about this, and I was wondering if another guy beat me to the punch. So I'm
No.
really excited now.
Yeah, you're the first one. So if you guys don't know who Jeff Jones is, he is the CFO of Twisted X. He has a remarkable coaching business called Summit Coaching. And he's got a BBA in accounting and an MA in conflict resolution. So that's coming from a very uneducated, non-college graduate person to say all these letters and numbers. But at the end of the day, he's just a badass. And that's what I call him. That's the BA.
Thank you. Thank you.
See? Badass.
Yeah.
Big badass.
Yeah. Big badass, maybe.
That's
yeah.
right. So Jeff and I have been friends for many, many, many years. He has been an integral part of my business and personal life. We both have had ups and downs in our careers and our lives, and he's been, and I don't know how much I've been, but Jeff has been an amazing support system for me. And what I want to share with you guys today is, yes, he's amazing at accounting and business and being logical and not making decisions out of emotion, all things that CFOs are amazing at. But what Jeff's truly amazing at is making you get in touch with who you are and where you're going and what's happening in your life. And I've been very blessed and lucky to be in Jeff's coaching program that he does. It was not easy. And some days were not fun with you, I think.
Probably not.
No, because, you want to, peeling back the layers of the onion is like, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It was really magical. Now, thinking back now, all the questions you would ask me or how we would talk about things and in the timing of how we would talk about things was amazing. His favorite thing he used to say to me, well, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, you were good at dancing around and deflecting.
Yes. And so I feel like a lot of us do that. One of the major breakthroughs for me with Jeff, which I guess a lot of people don't want to talk about their counseling on live to the world. But in my life, I felt like I maybe didn't live up to what I needed to be living up to, or, I didn't finish college, or I didn't do this right, or, my first marriage ended in failure. And how you made me look at myself in these situations and to release myself from that. And when you allow these other things in your life to take over, it's like a brain block, and then it feeds into other things. Yeah. So I feel like everyone should at least go through your program, because there's not one part of it at any part of my life that I don't use it now.
Wow, thank you. What a compliment. And I'll back up a little bit and I'll say it takes one badass to know a badass, right? So every now and then I go check your LinkedIn profile to see if you've changed it, your Facebook profile.
Oh yeah.
Because I just love how you have now expressed yourself. And let me just real quick say what coaching is, what coaching
Yes.
isn't, and what
Yes.
coaching is.
Yes.
So coaching is not counseling. Counseling therapy really goes back and digs deep into all these things in your past. And while we have to do that a little bit, you always have to back up a little bit to go forwards. Coaching is about going forwards. And that's what I really call my plan, mental momentum coaching. It's how do you use your mind to go where you want to go. And so that's just huge. The other thing, coaching is not, it's not consulting, and it's not mentoring. Consulting's me telling you what you ought to do. We did that way back when. And mentoring's telling you what I did and giving you, trying to help you build a path. Coaching is about who are you and where do you want to go. And when we started, one of the things I told you, or I asked you, is who is the expert on Lorenda Van Newkirk's life and goals? And it was you.
Mm-hmm.
My job was just to help you walk that path and unlock those doors. And you mentioned those questions that sometimes you wanted to not really answer.
Yeah.
But, my job is to really listen to who you are and then help you be who you want to be by asking the questions, finding ways to help you be accountable to do what you want to do, and then just watch you blossom. And boy, since we've been coaching, wow, how fun it has been for me to watch you go.
Well, it's just really opened my mind, because I feel like as we get older, and that's, well, I'm going to back up because that's one of my favorite things about you is you leave this huge career as a CFO and take a moment and go back to school and do this dream that you wanted to do. And, I saw the sacrifices you put yourself through to get where you wanted to go, which I have so much respect for you on that. But it's really watching you and then what the tools you've given me in coaching, not counseling,
Yeah.
how to use that momentum. And I am in control of my life. And where do I want to go? And what do I need to do to get there? And I am not a person, not that counseling's right or wrong or any mentoring, any of it is right or wrong. But for me, okay, yeah, that happened or this happened or whatever happened, but I'm interested in is moving forward. Where am I going and what do I need to do? And I feel like that definition, you really breaking that down for people, that's going to resonate with so many people because I feel like that's where we want to go. And so many people, you do have to go backwards a little bit and touch on some things, but let's touch on it, move on and move forward. And that's, whether like inner peace, if you can't look forward and go on, you can't have that inner peace for moving on or or that trauma that happened. We don't have to just settle on it. Like
Right.
we acknowledge it, we release it, we move on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, my wife's a therapist. I'm a, I think they're wonderful people. I've been going through therapy. I'll tell you about that later, but it is beneficial, and sometimes you do have to deal with those traumas and things in a way that really will let you move forward. But coaching, I mean, we deal with we call them gremlins in the coaching world, but they're those blocks of that are in our mind. Sometimes we may say those little voices that are putting fear or putting doubt or saying, "Hey, this happened once before, so this is what's going to happen to me every time." When it's not, things are always changing. We're always changing, but we sometimes those blocks hold us back
Mm-hmm.
from really allowing ourselves to be who we want to be, and we have to get out of our head sometimes to be able to do that. And that's where a coach can come in and help you kind of pull that out and look at it and examine it and say, is this real or not?
Mm-hmm.
And once it's kind of out there, once you've thrown it up and it's out of the inside of your head, it's not real. I mean, those things aren't holding you back. And so then you can begin taking those steps forward that allow you to do and be who you want to be.
No, and I just feel like, as we get older, you think you're going to get stronger, better, and you do in all these things, but then reality sets in. And so insecurity set in and
Mm-hmm.
all this junk or things happen or trauma happens. So I feel like when you can open your heart and your mind to this and accept moving forward and having someone in your corner. The other thing that I thought that I love with what you do and you're so good at is conflict. So it's not even, you can have president presidents of companies. You're a perfect person to have you come in, because if there's conflict going on in their businesses or people aren't connecting, there's another block.
Yeah.
You're a perfect person to step in with that.
Yeah. Let me, I'll go back and then get to what you're talking about. But, when I went to college, I wanted to be a psychology major because I've always been curious about what makes people tick. And I was really fascinated by that. And I told my parents what I was going to do, and they looked at me like I had two heads and had lost my mind. And they were paying for some of my college, not all of it, but they kicked in more money for me to go get an accounting degree. So I was smart enough to follow the money, and I've had a really good career in the accounting world. 25 years after I got my bachelor's, I went back to school to get a master's in conflict resolution, which made no sense to most people. But I'd just been through a divorce, so I was really interested in that, and I really wanted to be a mediator. But what I learned in conflict resolution training was, where do we not experience conflict, right? I mean, I've had people that wanted to get in a fight with me on the Little League baseball field because they thought I should have pitched junior more than I did in the game. Um, when you go to buy a car, it's somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. I mean, we're always negotiating, we're always working through things, and if you're married, there's a chance you may have had a disagreement with your spouse or your children at one point. And so I really wanted to dive into that more, and I've gotten to do some mediation work, and oddly with churches, and you know you talk about some deeply held, deep beliefs people have, and you have to work through. But it's so incredible when you can get people to kind of start seeing the other side and being able to work together and move past the conflict. And then I've been fortunate to be able to do a lot of conflict resolution training, and I call it conflict management and resolution, but do training in different business environments. So it's I go back. I'll just say it again. It's where do you not deal with conflict? And
All the
anytime
time.
we can get better at it, it's good for everyone.
You touched on it there. For one of my favorite topics to talk to Jeff about is religion, because he's besides my dad, you're probably have more education and thoughts around religion than anyone that I know, which maybe I don't know enough people. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that was going to
I
be my
don't know.
next comment.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough people. I mean, my cousins are pastors. I don't know. But what I love, and it's probably because of Jeff's training. So normally when you have a conversation with people about religion, they're very stuck in their views, and it almost becomes a fight. Every time I have a conversation with Jeff about religion, it really makes you think about how things are. Did the Bible mean this, or did it mean this? If a woman did this, does it mean that, and I've walked away from every conversation with you with a different perspective. Not that you've changed the way I feel about God or Jesus. That was not your intent at all. You were having a conversation with me just to open my mind. And I hope that I bring that with my craziness to you. But it's just like how you told me you interviewed churches. That has stuck with me it has stuck with me forever, because that is something so deep in my own faith. I am a woman that I do believe it's 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 a woman's choice to do what she wants, whether that's good or bad. That's my belief, not that yours or not. But if a woman has made that choice, why should she be crucified the rest of her life? And
Mhm.
for me, it was the way you set the question up, or your perspective was amazing. And I wish so many more people in the world had conversations the way we had conversations about it, because it really altered in how I felt about some things. Not that it changed, but it opened my eyes to things. So thank you for that. And that's kind of a deep subject we could go off on forever. Yeah. But I know my dad calls me and it tells me that it's the worst thing, that women shouldn't be able to do that, where the first thing I want to say is, you're a man, you don't get to say nothing. Which
Yeah.
is not the way. That's not having an open conversation. And I have one daughter that is black and white about it, and I have one daughter that's gray and pink about it. So
Hmm.
you know it's it is something. But the tools you've given me through coaching allows me to have real conversations like that without being mad. And that is where I feel the world, or we haven't been taught the tools, in which our school system's not going to teach our kids that. And they're not teaching it in college unless you go and specifically do what you did. But we're not given those tools to do that discussion. And I don't know. I mean, do you think that's just, it's changed in the generations? It never was taught.
Man, that is a great question, because I look back in time, or as far as I can look back, and I haven't, just been real studious of it, but you do look back in time and you see, um, people believe things, and they get so stuck on what they believe can be the only right answer, that they don't even have space to understand other people's experiences, ideas, where they come from, what they grew up out of. And generally we hang out with people that are like us.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we run into people who aren't like us, sometimes we're not prepared to, just go, oh wow, you grew up in a completely different environment. I grew up in a, people, this will show my age, but Leave It to Beaver, kind of environment where, a great mother, great father, went to church 3 times a week, did all the right stuff. And then I get into high school and I'm playing basketball, and I'm with a bunch of people, that are of a different race and of a different upbringing in certain ways, and of different socioeconomic, and those became my friends. I picked them up in the morning and brought them to practice. I took them home in the evening after school, and I thought, wow, there was a book a while back, Same but Different, as me, and it really opened my eyes. And then two of my very best friends, when I was going through a valley in my life, we read the book Crazy Love by Francis Chan, and we all read that book. And when we got done, we were like, okay, what now? And so we decided to go out and start helping homeless people. And the three idiot amigos go out at 10 o'clock at night into the woods over in Denton, Texas, looking for homeless people. And of course, I think they all scattered. It's like, these guys must be the cops or something. But we went back one Saturday afternoon and met up with them. I have such a heart for homelessness now, because I have seen what education, lack of food, drug abuse, in the home, and growing up, um, just so many things, how people get where they are
Mm-hmm.
and don't know a way out of it. And that had a big perspective change for me. One of the most meaningful things, we started bringing these guys to our church in Decatur, and we brought them over one time when we were having potluck Sunday. And I collected after it was over, we had 2 briskets left. And so I asked them to cut it up for me and told them why I was going to give it to these guys. So then all these ladies started collecting all the food that was left over. And it was 4 guys that we were really working with. And I take them back to Denton and I drop them off. It's August, it's 108 degrees. I'm crying on the way over there, because I'm going to go back home in my air conditioned truck to my air conditioned house and live my Great Life, and I'm dropping these guys under the Big Oak, is what they called it in Denton, right off University. And we take everything down there, and I start walking back to the truck, said my goodbyes, and I realize they're following me. I'm like, guys, y'all don't need to follow me. And they go, oh, we're going to go get all of our friends so we can share.
Oh,
And man, guys who don't have anything, they have a little bit. Now they're going to go get friends and share. And life is really that way. I
mm-hmm.
mean, we're surrounded by people, and unfortunately, the climate we're in now, it's it's just getting. There's a lot of anger and a lot of hatred because people who are different from other people, instead of sitting down and talking and listening, just want to yell and argue. And at the end of the day, we can't do that. I was, and forgive me for rambling on, but
No, this is great. I
um,
love it.
a couple of years ago, I'm a member of this financial executives group, and they've got a chapter in Fort Worth. And I got to be friends with this banker lady that was involved in an organization in Fort Worth that um, they were having a DEI panel, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion panel, um, at this event in Fort Worth one night, and she asked me to be on it, and I just laughed, because I'm just like, I don't think I'm really the DEI person, and she goes, no, I need you on it, and so I get there that night, and there's a Jewish guy there. There's a lady, I believe she's Filipino. There's a lady that's black on there, and there was one other person, and I forget um, what his ethnicity was. And then I'm the token white dude with the cowboy hat on. And they're talking about all the stuff that is meaningful and impactful to them and their life experience that I haven't had. But it gets to me, and it's like, what's your take on it? And at Twisted X, it's just it's interesting. I mean, our CEO is from India originally. He's an American citizen now. He's one of the most patriotic people you'll ever meet in your life. Our CMO is female. Our CIO is from Chinese descent. And again, I'm your
Token white
token
dude.
token Caucasian. We have people from India working for us, in IT, different countries. You know, Hispanics. My team is a blend of a whole lot of different things, and we work great together
Mm-hmm.
because we don't look at all that stuff. And so that's what I said is, at some point in time, we've got to realize that we're all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
There's one planet, and everybody walking this planet, as far as I'm aware of, bleeds red. And
Yep.
everybody is walking this planet, as far as I'm aware of, knows pain and suffering. We're in it together. And if we don't learn how to live with each other together, what we're doing is leaving the world a whole lot worse for my children and my grandchildren. And hopefully one day I'll get to meet my great grandchildren. And I don't want to leave the world worse. I want to leave it better.
Well, you're making it better. I mean, I'm not so angry anymore. No, I will. I got invited to the Twisted X Awards for all their employees, and it was like being at one of those conferences. They make you want to jump up and be like, I want to sign up. I want to be a part of it. I was like, I want to work for Twisted X. So, no, it's you do. It's a very special place, but I feel like you're part of that puzzle that makes, it all starts with the top. And I feel like everything runs downhill. And so your attitude and your way of looking at things, that is being put out all over Twisted X. And Prasad has the same, I feel like the same
Yes.
attitude that
Yeah,
way.
he does.
100%. He's an amazing person. Even if he doesn't want to wear my socks, he doesn't wear socks. It's not that he doesn't want to wear my socks because my socks are the best socks, and
They are.
they even fit Jack.
They are.
So they are the best socks.
You do have socks that fit me now?
Yes. I
How
mean, they
come I,
might not go up to, they might be ankle socks on you.
Sometimes
But
my size 14s are hard to fit. So,
yeah, no, well, I'm working on it. We're a work in progress. We
all
are
right.
definitely a work in progress. Wow, that was a lot. I don't know. We went off on a big old road there.
Yeah.
So you have how many grandkids now? When you said that,
5 now.
yeah, like I don't even
Yeah.
think I don't even think when I met you, your kids were they still in high school? Have we known each?
When you met me, when we first met, they weren't even in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, way back in the Gypsy Soul Crazy Fashion Show in Vegas days.
Yes.
Um,
That was
yeah,
super fun. That was super
they,
fun when I got the phone call that somebody didn't want their name on my fashion show anymore, but that's
yes,
okay.
yeah, but yeah, they were maybe elementary and middle school then. But yeah, my baby now is 28. He'll be 29 in June. So,
That is
uh,
crazy.
and his son, who's 11 months old, just got second place in the diaper dash at a basketball game. So I'm, I'm
Were
very
you
proud of
there?
my.
Were you
No,
there
I
at the
didn't.
video
He
camp?
sent me the video.
Well, one of my favorite memories with Jeff is I can remember when he was go- changing careers and doing all the things. And I can remember us sitting in my office, my Gypsy Soul office, and I was just talking. This is before he even decided he was coaching me since the day he met me. The poor Jeff. Uh, but I will never forget one of my favorite things, and I put it on a lot of my posts. If you follow me on Facebook, um, but the hobby comment that I
Yeah,
need to get a hobby. So
yeah,
I've never forgotten that, which I know I haven't forgotten it because you see it
yes,
on my posts. But it was such a simple, and it was almost like I think you said it like when you were leaving, or I just know you were between candles, and I needed a hobby. Um, but I've taken that with me, and I have never let that go of you telling me that and how important that is to me because I I I say I have no addictions. Working. I am a workaholic. I love to work. I drive my poor husband Joel crazy. Thank God his mother is Brenda Van Newkirk, so I'm only half as bad. Um, in my opinion. No comment, huh? Uh,
yeah,
but but I mean, literally, I took your advice and I think I literally ran with it, getting a barrel horse. So thank you.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was just, we've got so much stress in our life, and especially if we own a business or we're business leaders, we've got a lot coming at us all the time. And if you don't have a way to go turn that and let that steam off, um, man, it builds up and builds up, and in a way starts to paralyze you. I mean, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever it is. And so, at that time you were having a tough go with Gypsy Soul, and I was like, this woman needs to get out and have some fun.
Yeah.
And so you have embraced it with the horse stuff, and I love watching it,
Yeah.
because you have learned how to balance all those things so well. It's
Well,
fun
it's
to
a
watch.
daily hour. Like when people say, "Do you, Lorenda, what's your work life balance?" And I hate that saying.
Yeah.
Because work life balance is different every day, could be every hour. It's just keeping yourself balanced in that moment, which maybe that's horrible coaching advice. I don't know, but I don't, as a woman, I hate that saying.
Well, I call it the work life teeter totter, because one of them's always going up and one of them's always going down, and it's just seldom on a teeter totter. I mean, that's always the fun thing to do is, hey, can we get right in the middle? And every now and then you can, but you can't hold it because you know there's
That's a,
something weighs more than the other thing, and it's gonna shift from time to time.
well, especially when you have children, because then they like the teeter totter just goes, whoa.
Yeah,
I'm doing it. Oh, nope, it's going this way. So,
they
no,
they do add
I
their own special flair to our lives.
yes, they do. Well, and I just love that you told me that. And I at first I kind of like was like, whatever. I need to work. But it truly it's, I will work and work and work. But then once I get in my trailer with my living quarters and go show, and I have a ribbon or a check that is not as much as it cost me to get there, I'm just so happy. So, and I love, it's, I'm glad with I have the attitude that I have with my barrel horse, because living in North Texas, it's the mecca of barrel racing. So no
Yes.
matter where you go, you're going to get your ass handed to you, because I'm running against any of the top 50 NFR girls for the last 2 years at any given time. So I just look at it as, my horse looks beautiful. My horse's tail is flowing in the wind. I don't look stupid when I run. I get an awesome picture, hopefully a great video. And if the stars align, I'll get a check.
There you go.
It's a hobby. That's it. Now, my horse showing, I've decided we're all business. I'm there. I'm coming for the globe. So anybody, just so you know, Lorenda's getting globes real soon.
There you go. And you're
I've got
doing good.
I've got goals, but it's all thanks to you. So if Joel says I have too many hobbies, I'm going to tell him to call you.
Yeah, blame it on me.
Yes, exactly.
I can take it.
So I love everybody that comes on my podcast. They have to fill out this stupid form, and some people want to tell me, "Don't you know me enough? I don't need to fill it out." But I love it because there's always things on it that I find out. So I love these catchphrases that you put on here. And I'm like, how did I not know these about you? So don't spend so much of your time chasing tomorrow that you miss today.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest piece of advice I give younger people today. Um, back in December, I hit the magic 6-0, and there comes a point, and I haven't really. I mean, I'm not distressed over being 60, but there comes a point in time you really start thinking about what has mattered to me and what was important to me when I was 20 and 30, and how did that play out, and what matters to me now that I'm on that downside of life, and I know I only have a certain time left. And I look back and I realized I spent so much of my early years looking so far ahead that I missed today,
Mm-hmm.
and missed the joy of today, and missed the moments, and and some of the memories, because I
Mm-hmm.
was just too busy. And you know what? At the end of our life, we all go out the same way, right?
Yeah.
So does it matter how much money we had, or how much we accumulated, or whatever it was? Or does it matter how we spent the time with people? And if I could do it over again, I would certainly focus more on that present moment. Not that you don't want to have ambition, not that you don't want to do things to better your life, and better your family, and whatever it may be, but don't get so obsessed with that
Mm-hmm. Well,
that
and
you miss the moments.
it's so, I mean, I'm totally guilty of it. I mean, I'm sure my kids have a list of mom, mom not paying attention, mom not, and it's true. I mean, you do get so caught up, and especially, I feel like social media plays a huge part
True.
of
Yeah.
it, where you got to be. I mean, Charlie called me the other day just frantic about her internship, and she's got this, and she's got to be on this. And she got connected. Our good friend Lexi, Cowgirls,
Hmm.
and so her brother is a broadcaster. He looks like Ken the doll.
Right. Yes.
Like, is he for real? I want to touch him. Is he real? But Lexi got them connected, and so she's telling him all the things, and he's like, "You're doing great. You're actually probably ahead of most people." And that's why I'm just like, Charlie, in like college, you're literally, you have one more year of college, and then it's like work. So
Yeah.
take all this in, take a breath. I promise. I mean, the poor kid can't help it. She's genetically wired this way. And Jaylee's the same way. I mean, they're just, when they hone in on something, but I'm so guilty of that. I need to put that like up on my mirror every day
Yeah.
in letters. I love this other one, and I hope I don't read this wrong because you know how well I read, but you can change the people around you, or you can change the people around you.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah. Well, and and I talk about we end up hanging out with people like us, and there was a time in my life where I was kind of a rebellious hellion, and I was hanging out with people who were like me, and it wasn't healthy, it wasn't good, um, and I wasn't going to change their actions, so I had to change where I spent my time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we all have to realize from time to time, because there's that other phrase of you're like the five closest people around you, or whatever, and that's true. And so be cognizant of who you're putting in your circle and what they're doing for you, because I mean, you've said it. Our relationship's one where we've been there for each other for
Mm-hmm.
a long time now,
Yeah.
and I would say we have both built each other up over time. And that's the kind of people you want around you. You don't want the people dragging you down. And so if you're around people that you feel less than happy or less than fulfilled when you're around them, either
Get
talk to them about, hey, why don't we do this? Or, it may
change
be
it.
time to move on.
That's one of the steps in my training that I do is your crew. Who are you around? Who's
Mhm.
building you up? And which sometimes it's hard because, like with me, sometimes, your biggest critics are the people in your family. I have teenage daughters that are like, Mom, you're cringy sometimes. Did you put that on social media? So, and it is important to me what my girls, what they think.
Sure.
I mean, it's not everything. They're not going to be my identity, but you have to be know the people around you, know how they are. I'm not going to change the way they think. Eventually they will know how cool I am eventually. So we'll get
Yes.
past that. But
Yeah.
you got to be around people to help push you in those goals or where you're going to go or how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I think this other quote should be your tagline for your coaching. Being authentic is the only path to peace.
Whew. Okay. Well, that one came from some of the hardest days of my life. Um, because and this, I talk about this in conflict resolution training too. Most of us, we build the facade we want people to see. When and I talk about, when I do conflict resolution training, most of the places I've done it, I'm usually wearing slacks and a sport coat. When have you ever seen me in slacks and a sport coat? So I'm putting on, this armor to present an impression to people. And that's a small one. The other biggest one, the other ones is just all the deep secrets we hold that we never tell people. And so when I went through my divorce, or after my divorce, I got invited to speak at this men's conference, and it was using Tony Evans' Kingdom Man video study. And there was the fourth, there were six of them, and the fourth one was how to be a kingdom man at home. And they asked me if I'd help, and I said, as long as I don't have to do that one, because I'm the divorce guy. And guess which one I ended up having to do?
A fourth one, of
And it was
course.
through a series of just weird events. Even walking up to the building that night we were doing it, there was the pastor from the Methodist church said, I thought I was doing number 4, and I ended up with number 5. And I just like, well, God does have a sense of humor.
Yes, he does.
But that was one night where I got up and told guys how not to be a Christian man at home and what it would do to relationships.
Hmm.
And, uh, I don't even remember what all I said. I talked about if you're doing this or doing that or this thing, um, what you're really doing is you're impacting generations, because one day it will all come out. And I said, for the rest of my life, my kids and my grandchildren are going to be impacted by decisions that me and my ex-wife made. Um, and we're going to have to live with that. And I just kind of bared my heart of who I wanted to be going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had a therapist in town call me and go, hey, there were like 3 guys that have called me this morning and said they heard you. But what I learned is when you're authentic, we're all going through poop
Mm-hmm.
in life. I don't know if this is censored or not. We're all going through hard stuff in life, but we try to act like we're not.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine.
I'm great.
I've had 3 people ask me that today, and I've told them exactly what's going on in my life. And
I love it.
and it's not like they shy away from me. They offer words of sympathy and condolence, and when I was going through my divorce, I had these 7 guys around me, and I could tell them anything. I could tell them any thoughts I was having, anything I did I shouldn't be doing or wanted to do, and we all loved each other and still do, immensely, because we just bared our soul. And Kelly. I mean,
Yes,
you've
she's
met her.
amazing.
You hadn't been around her a lot, but
She's amazing.
um, when Kelly and I started talking about getting married, I had this brilliant idea. I said, "Hey, let's tell each other the worst thing we would never want anybody to know about us.
Oh gosh.
And if we still like each other after that, I think we've got a great chance." And after I said it, I was like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard."
I'm like, what class did they teach you that?
Yeah, I mean, that was, obviously, I think that was a voice from on high, just using my voice to speak a word. But we did it. We shared with each other some of the most horrific stuff we would never want anybody to know. And you know what? I looked at her and I thought, wow, you're just another human on this one planet who knows pain and suffering and bleeds red, just like I am. And
Yep.
she looked at me that way. And imagine how much easier it is to go through life knowing that we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but we can either work together or we can act like we got it all together and not really ever get close. So
Yeah.
that authenticity I have just learned really over the last 15 years or so, that people are either drawn to it and those are the people I want in my life,
Mm-hmm.
or they're scared of it and they run off, and they're not the best people for me to be around anyway.
No, God takes them out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think I've taken up enough of your day, but I I can't even express to you how what a privilege it is to have you on my podcast. What a privilege it is that you are truly a friend. You are a very integral part of my life and someone that I feel like no matter what, I could tell you anything and you'll either be like, don't do that again, or don't tell anybody that again. But it's truly been fun being your friend in all of our peaks and valleys. And the biggest thing is your resilience, and watching you gives me resilience. And I hope people listening today have that same resilience, or wanting to have that resilience. So what is the best way for someone to find you if they're like, I need him in my life? How do I get with Jeff?
Yeah, well, today, and because I didn't listen to your advice of hurry up and get my website built, today the best place to find me and do that's on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
So it's LinkedIn. It's Jeff Jones 940 is my deal on LinkedIn. You can also email me it's Jeff at Summit Collab, COLLAB.com, which is short for Summit Collaborative, which is something my wife and I are working on for the future. But either one of those is the best way to get me, and we can talk. If anybody wants to learn more about coaching, we can have a introductory call and decide if it's right or not. But
Yep.
I and same thing with if I can help with conflict resolution in any way, I'm happy to do that. So thank you for inviting me on. When you started doing this, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! I'd love to be on her podcast." And then you sent the invite, and I've been excited
Yes.
about it. But you have been a great friend to me, and you have certainly brought me out of my shell a little bit. needless to say. And I feel good about loving scents of different candles now because I've got to
It's
be authentic with you about that.
yes, yes. Well, and when I met Jeff, he was super clean cut, super just starchy. I mean, now he has long flowing locks and he's one cool dude. So definitely check out Jeff. And if you, for some reason, you can't find him, just get with me. I'll get you hooked up. No problem.
All right, good deal.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you.